Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Sirigan. For my returning viewers and also to my new subscribers, I usually appreciate so much for your great support always. Now, Kenyans, things are now taking another direction, whereby now the United States of America has now come out to issue a certain report. And through that report, US is putting Kenya on the spot over increased human rights violation. So for now, the United States of America has highlighted an increase in human rights violation in Kenya in its latest 2024 Kenya Human Rights Report. And on this report, they are now capturing what happened in 2024. Why? Because the report has now revealed that human rights situation in Kenya deteriorated in 2024. So from that 2024 is where now they are starting to compile things, because that's the year whereby the human rights situation started deteriorating. And you can remember very well what happened in 2024. And the thing is that the Gen Z protest, that's where now the things started going in another direction. So for now, this report is now revealing that the human rights situation started deteriorating in 2024. So for now, this report is coming out to cite several issues, and you can note them. And the first issue is including the arbitrary or unlawful killings. And you can remember very well the likes of Kinarex Masai, they were being killed. And now through those things, this report is coming out to talk about them. So this report is talking about several issues, and they are very, very significant. And the first thing is this known as unlawful killings. The second one is disappearances. The third one is torture. So through those things now, that's where now this report is now dwelling on. So for now, remember, they are talking in two stages. The first stage is those ones which I have talked about, and the second stage is about the media issue. So for now, this report is coming out to say like this, as I quote: the government took steps to identify and punish officials who committed human rights abuses, but impunity was a problem at all levels of government. So for now, they are talking especially on this issue of extrajudicial killings, whereby this report has highlighted the alleged killings in the Gen Z's protest over the proposed 2024 finance bill, which was accompanied by alleged excessive and unlawful police action. And that's why I've said that this report is mainly dwelling on the part of this violation of human rights, and specifically on this issue of extrajudicial killings and the disappearance and the other things like torture. So for now, this report is telling us that the government took steps to identify and punish officials who committed human rights abuses, but impunity was a problem at all levels of government, including this type of police brutality. So for now, this report again is coming out to say that, as I read, there were numerous reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings during the year, particularly during youth-led nationwide Gen Z demonstrations in June and July to protest proposed tax increases. So for now, as I've said, this report inaongelelea mainly what happened in 2024, because the report is saying that the human rights situation started deteriorating in 2024. And that's where now they are starting compiling all those issues, including the extrajudicial killings and torture and other abductions. So for now, that's where now this report is coming out to say that there were numerous reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings during the year, particularly during youth-led nationwide Gen Z. And that's why nimekwambia hii issue ilianzia on June 25th last year 2024. And that's why sasa hii report ina capture from there continuing on. Remember very well, during that Gen Z protest in June 2024, and it was dated 25. You can remember so many people were killed. And now this report is coming out to compile some of the things, including the extrajudicial killings, unlawful arrests, and torture, including the police brutality. So for now, you can clearly tell that now the human rights are coming out to eye on Kenya. Because Kenya for now, from last year, so many things has happened. And these things which has been happening, you can clearly tell is the things which are going against the human rights, including the extrajudicial killings, the abductions, the torture, and police brutality. So for now, unaweza pata that this report may affect Kenya in other way, because the human rights, they will follow up and they will know what really happened. And that's why they are coming out to issue this report. And that's why now the United States are now highlighting an increase in human rights violation in Kenya in its latest Kenya Human Reports 2024. So unaweza pata that these things tunaweza assume, but at the end of the day tunaweza pata that there will be so many things coming out. So for now, remember, they are talking in two sections, on the side of police brutality and on the side of the media, because they are now saying that they are now coming to talk about this issue of media censorship. Remember very well, during the Gen Z protest last year on 25th June, the government came out with this idea whereby they were trying to block some of the media services to air the Gen Z protest. And that's what now this report is coming out to say. So through this report, is saying like this: President William Samoei Ruto called on media to report responsibly during the protest, claiming several media houses glorified anarchy by providing selective live coverage of the demonstrations. And that's why I have told you that on that demonstration which happened last year on 25th June, we saw this government came out and highly criticized the media, whereby they were trying to do a thing known as media censorship, in which they wanted to filter some of the informations or to filter some of the news, whereby they were saying at some of the media houses were glorifying the anarchy. But remember very well, it was not an anarchy. It was a Gen Z protest, whereby they were protesting against the proposed finance bill at that time. Remember, at that time, there was a proposed finance bill. And that was the thing which led the Gen Zs to protest. It was not an anarchy thing. Even that situation of the youths invading the parliament, it was just because of this issue of the finance bill 2024. And again, what contributed most, it was the arrogance of the members of parliament. Because members of parliament, they were being informed that, please, don't pass this thing, or don't just do the things which you want. But due to arrogance of the members of parliament we have, and due to pride, they taken an action whereby they started passing this finance bill. So that's the thing which mostly contributed again. Yeah? And due to that, we saw the youth stormed the street, and even it extended to a point whereby the youth invaded the parliament. So due to those events which took place at that time, President William Samoei Ruto came out and called the media to report responsibly, whereby that time William Samoei Ruto was saying that several media houses were glorifying the anarchy and by providing selective live coverage of the demonstrations. So for now, this report is coming out clearly to criticize what William Samoei Ruto did last year in 2024, especially in June and July during the Gen Z-led protest. So for now, you can remember, you can note that another form of human rights violated at that time was media censorship, whereby now they were coming out to threat the media houses, saying that at yo nyinyi mnafanya nini, muna support the anarchy. But the truth of the matter is, it was not an anarchy. It was the protest whereby the youths were opposing this thing known as Finance Bill 2024. So for now, Kenyans, what's your opinion on this issue of whereby now the United States is putting Kenya on the spot over increased human rights violation through this latest 2024 human rights report? Drop your opinion at the comment section. Otherwise, thank you so much for your great support. Consider subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing. Let's meet in another video.